Okay, so we're continuing Spooktober. Yeah, you'll definitely see this by the beginning of November, at least the first part. So we have Silent Hill Origins. This is a game that not a lot of people give any love to.
I definitely think it's probably the best of the non-Team Silent games.
Yeah, this was made by an American team, I believe.
Yeah. So I think this game is serviceable. I definitely don't compare it even closely to the original trilogy. But
tall and wall to wall.
I still think it's like for...
I mean, I'd rather play this game than Silent Hill 4, but it's because Silent Hill 4 is like purposely just a nightmare to play.
Yeah. It's also one that I, truth be told, have not beaten yet. Like, I've only gotten like a third through the game, and I've never played it before. So this is another one of those games where I'm kind of just practicing it as I need to, because I know it's going to be like a three-parter. Once again, just because I lack, you know, a lot of the time to practice, I have a... Although I did practice this part. I have a 7-page walkthrough. The Ring Tower's Realm was a 6-page handwritten or not handwritten, but walkthrough that I made. And this is a 7-page walkthrough that I made.
When we first got our PSP, I remember that this was a game that I played a lot for some reason. I remember like replaying it like 2 or 3 times in a row, like right away. And this game isn't very long.
It also has the most BA main character in a Silent Hill, and I don't think that's up for debate. Travis Grady. You're a trucker, if it isn't super obvious.
What about the Homecoming guy who's like a veteran?
But he has a lot of problems.
Yeah, but he knows how to, well, sort of knows how to wield a gun. At least in the Silent Hill universe, he's the best.
Yeah, that is true. I forget everything about Downpour. Like, obviously, Travis Grady has problems too, but not like...
Downpour was just boring.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single thing from
I remember being in a prison, and, like, that's the end part, but that's all I remember.
You should definitely eventually do Downpour, because I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, me either.
I think it would be cool if you did.
I mean, I'm eventually going to do every Silent Hill game, except for probably Book of Memories.
I mean, Book of Memories, first of all, it's only on the Vita, I think.
Yeah, and it's not even really an SH
like,
game.
It's like a multiplayer shoot-'em-up thing.
We played it for a couple hours one day, like on a car ride back or something, and I was like, what is this? It's Diablo. Like, it literally is.
If you want to see something interesting, YouTube land, you should look up the beta footage for this game.
Correct.
Because this was developed like after RE4 was just such a monumental like thing, and every game in the world was becoming RE4, and this game was no different. But they released the original gameplay alpha footage, and people hated it, and they changed it for the better.
I thought that it was going to look interesting, but it was at a time where Silent Hill was still the 4 main games, so it wasn't like, oh, well, with Silent Hill they made Shattered Memories so they can do anything. It was literally still like, no, all Silent Hill games are like this, so when they made it like much more action-y, which, by the way, this game is much more action-y anyway.
Hey, come back!
Which kind of makes sense, considering he, like, literally is, like, he seems more, Travis Grady seems more, like, attuned to fighting or whatever than, like, James or Harry or whatever. Like, at least he does, like, a blue-collar job. I don't even know what James's job was, if he was, like, a writer or something like that. Or maybe Harry was a writer.
Yeah, I don't think they ever go into James. I think Harry's some sort of writer or journalist.
Yeah. And then, oh, that's another game I want to do eventually, but I feel it'd be too long for LPs, is Alan Wake. That game is just great.
I never played it, but I've definitely heard good things.
Oh, it's so good. It's like Stephen King book, and they, like, do that on purpose, by the way.
Talking about Alan Wake, when Jacob originally got his Xbox One, we were just trying to find games to play on it, and we picked up that Quantum Break game, which is developed by the same guys. Literally the most generic game in the world. The only thing funny about it is from Dark Knight Rises, CIA is in it.
Yes!
Like, his actual face model's in it, and I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Well, now I gotta play it.
That's the only good thing about the game.
If that lady looks familiar to you Silent Hill veterans, we'll find out.
Anytime he was on the screen, he was trying to sound serious, and I was just like, his literal face just makes me laugh now.
He was also like a top 10 main character in Game of Thrones, but he was like silly in it, in the fact that like he always talked like out of the side of his mouth, like he was like, his whole character was like he was like a secretive guy. Oh yeah, it was over here. Sorry. A secretive guy and all that, so he was like always like pulling strings and whatever, and like after you would find out about some crazy like plot that happened, you'd be like, Littlefinger! That was his name, by the way.
That's cool.
Alright, so...
Maybe one day I'll watch Game of Thrones.
It's okay. Game looks pretty good for a PS2 game.
You should probably let her burn.
You're coming with me.
Why is this guy so determined?
Because he's Travis Grady, bro.
She is in a world of hurt if you save her. She will be in constant pain.
Yeah. That's why, not to get too serious here, but like burn stuff is always like freaks me out. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it just creates like permanent scar tissue on your skin. It just looks horrendous.
I always have a little bit of trouble here. I think it's this. Yeah, okay. Yep. Me. Bonk. I like how this is happening. They still have the Akira Yamaoka music going on.
You know, thinking about this, even though I played this game a bunch of times, like when I initially played it, I don't think I've touched it since, and I almost remember nothing about this game. I remember the main gimmick, because the main gimmick of transferring between worlds is really cool, actually.
It is super cool, and we'll see that in... This game actually doesn't, like... Unlike a lot of other Silent Hills, where, like, at the beginning of Silent Hill, like, 1 or 2, it's, like, very, like, slow-paced or whatever. This game, you're, like, into the action pretty fast. So, I would go as far to say that this game kind of assumes you've played other ones before.
The only other thing I remember is that, obviously, this game is sort of about Alyssa and stuff like that. And I remember that they kind of retconned some stuff, but I don't remember specifically what it was.
We'll find out, because like I said, I have not beaten this game yet. I'm only, like, whatever, a fourth through.
I'm pretty glad that after this game, they pretty much started doing, like, their own, like, standalone stories. Because an origin story seems alright, but if they just kept making sequels that like directly connected to everything else, I probably wouldn't like it. I guess Homecoming takes place in actual Silent Hill as well.
Yeah, I mean it's like
it is so like far removed from everything else.
You got to get to a point where not every story can be about freaking Alessa, you know. Obviously 2 wasn't, but 1, 3, and Origins were, and it's like okay, you know, there's a certain point where it runs its course. It's just like. Well, I guess they don't agree, but not every Resident Evil game has to be about Leon and Claire, except for, well, you know. They agree with that, so.
Yeah, at least they didn't shoehorn Wesker into RE2.
What? Wesker's the GOAT. In Resident Evil, what was that, Umbrella Chronicles, when he was always like, heh, pathetic.
While I wasn't the biggest fan of the RE2 remake, I think it's a good game. I would even say it's probably a great game. I'm actually really looking forward to their RE3 remake, which I hope they're doing.
That girl.
Wasn't the thing that they announced like something that like no one like wants or whatever?
I don't know.
It was like kind of like a new Operation Raccoon City. I thought they announced that recently.
I need to see if she's okay.
Okay,
sounds sort of familiar, but I'm not really too sure.
I don't know if it was official or whatever. So, this part's easy. We just have to go around and we're at the literal, which by the way, I love how they do this, the hospital. And the camera angle, like right here, is like the exact same as it is in 1. It's pretty cool. Alright, so as always, I don't have this super memorized, so there will be times I have to like briefly pause to, you know, make sure I get everything right. Oh, you like that? Wow. I always press the wrong button there. Public notice. Under construction. Currently, the 2nd and 3rd floors of the hospital are undergoing renovations. At this time, they are closed to patients and visitors. Work continues in earnest, and the hospital management thanks you for your continued cooperation. The end. That's pretty much it for that one. Nothing crazy there. Okay, so. And those are what save points look like. So this game, like Trevor said, and we're going to notice them really quick. Well, it has a cool how you switch between the worlds. The one negative, as you saw, is like this dude can run for 5 seconds and he's like... So that will be a thing that we're going to be fighting with. I just wanted to hear the drums for a sec. Silent Hill soundtracks do have a very unique feel, where it's like very
Can I help you?
That fire last night. The girl who was burned. Is she here?
A girl? We've received no new patients in the last day or so. Was she hurt?
She was burned all over.
Are you a relative? What did you say her name was?
I don't know her name. I was the one who saved her from the fire. She must have been brought here. Is there another hospital?
bass Travis.
I'm sorry. Perhaps someone in reception could help you. I have urgent business.
Yeah, all those other people in this hospital.
Goodbye.
Where should I go? Oh, also, and because the hospital is the very first place, I kind of actually just put 2 and 2 together. Because the hospital is the first place, and they don't want it to be like a huge labyrinth, that's why they have that note there. So it's like, here's why you can't go to the 3rd or 4th floor. Because if you remember, the coolest part in Silent Hill 1 is when you go in the hospital and you realize, like, in one of the elevators, suddenly there's a 4th floor, and you're like, what the hell? So again, this game gets you into it right away. Like, we're like, what?
Yes?
1 minute into actual gameplay.
Yeah, like 5 minutes since you started.
This game also has a very unique function that I hope we don't see too often.
That feeling, no Silent Hill nurse GF.
That feeling. It's a. Oh, I wanted to put it right there. We go. Okay, so. Like I said, this game is a little more like action oriented.
No finishing move thing?
I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Let me try one more time. Because I did it a couple times yesterday, but I didn't figure out how. Is it like a different button? It's not that. If she gets up again, I can just, yeah, I don't remember how to do that, but that's fine, because I just have to go here. Because normally it's just X right next to him. What? Okay, so, luckily this game is all about, you know, running away and stuff. So, there's a thing. Oh, it must be on the next one. Okay, well, I come in. Oh, here we go. No? Okay. So I have to go in here. There's something wrong with the mirror. The reflection isn't right. Because if you look, it's all, like, dark and stuff over there. So, I'm gonna leave. Or am I? By the way, as all horror games are when I play them, if sometimes it looks a little dark, it's a little bit of YouTube compression and a little bit of the fact that there's parts in this game that are so damn dark. So this is the main,
You're the girl from the fire. How did you...
This is the main, I guess you would call it, gimmick of the game, is you can, when you find mirrors, go between Otherworld and normal Silent Hill, which is really cool, and I think the puzzles in this game are probably some of the coolest because of that. So, we're gonna get this plastic lungs.
Oh, I remember this puzzle.
We're gonna get the scalpel, and we're gonna get the health drink. You get BTFO very easily in this game, by the way. So, we're gonna go to... we want to go to the Nurses Center, and then we want to head over to 202. So that'd be the 3rd door there. I'm going to try to look at the map as little as possible, but you'll have to bear with me.
Dude, playing Silent Hill is just kind of looking at the map the whole time. Unless you're
like
speedrunner.
Well, when I was doing... Okay, so yeah, here we go. This is the big difference here. As you saw, you enter these, like, QTEs, which is whatever. I understand, like, Travis is stronger than your average person, and also later on in the game, you don't have the chance... Oh my god, I hate this camera in this game sometimes. So this is 202. We're going to get some loud noises. So we got a golden egg. And then... Worry not! I have used to contain her power. No one will come to her aid. One of the 5, hide them, protect them. Thanks. So we have the golden egg. We're going to head downstairs. Dude, the funny thing is about this game, or any Silent Hills, is like you can be in a room where you know that there's nothing wrong, that there's no problem, but the simple fact that like the music is like the sound design and the music is so good and scary that you're just like, what the hell? You know?
Yeah, I gotta say the art design looks very Silent Hill-y. I don't know. I thought it was just gonna be a little bit less good, but I would say this is about on par with the original trilogy.
I'm telling you, this game is legit. So we're gonna head to the ladies' room right after I get hit by this person right here. Yep. Okay. Nope. 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 I'm gonna get hit, but that's okay. Alright, so golden egg. Oh, I'm at the wrong one. Maybe. Here. You know what? Down, bruh. So
You're
this
probably just not immediately in front of it.
Not literally right in front of it. Alright, so we're gonna head in here. And we are going to check in here. And we're gonna get the plastic liver, that's correct.
I love to get a plastic liver from the back of a toilet thing.
Yum yum! Okay, and then we are going to... By the way, like, if I didn't like look up how to do some of this, like, I can't imagine how long it would take me to figure out, because these 2 worlds and like the specific times you have and all that, like, just holy crap. So we're going to check the stalls. We notice that it says Amy 31. Remember that, because they don't tell you anything in Silent Hill without, you know, it being very specific. Oh. And we want to get... I almost forgot that. That'd be bad. So we want to head to the staff lounge, which I think is... Yeah, okay, so that's actually an easy one. I also love the way this is set up. Now, I'm not saying there's not enemies in normal Silent Hill, because that's not true. But just even being in normal Silent Hill is, like, so relieving compared to the other world. And the fact that you, like, have to constantly, like, change between it is just pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool dynamic, because obviously the other Silent Hills is, like, once it goes dark, it usually stays dark until you do something very significant.
Yeah.
So it's a good change of pace, and it's definitely a good idea, whoever thought of it.
So that's Lucy 23. So we got Amy 31 and Lucy 23. Hello. So we got a toaster, which is a melee weapon, by the way. Hello. Hi. Okay. And then, as you know, the renovations of the upper floors have run into problems. The plumbing leak and substandard materials used have forced us to close off the 3rd floor until further notice. We remind you of the familiar adage, you will get what you pay for. We now face 6 more months of work. Therefore, we ask doctors to refrain from committing patients and encouraging homestays instead. Unless they're dying in your arms, don't book them in. Staff party, worry not. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we got that. So we got to go to the exam room, which is... Got it. So 2 doors and then a right. Understood. But yeah, just being in here, even though, like I said, in other parts, like in this Silent Hill, or I'm sorry, in the hospital, there's no enemies in the normal world, but that obviously changes at some point. Stop it. So we're gonna head in here. We're gonna pick up a couple things in here.
Does this game not have tank controls?
No. And then this is Sarah 19. So we had Lucy 23, Sarah 19, and Amy 31. I got a typewriter, which, by the way, is literally a weapon. To all staff, it is forbidden to enter my office unaccompanied until further notice. Dr. Kaufman.
Whoa!
Sounds like an interesting fella. So we have the plastic stomach and the plastic intestines. Okay, so we're going to go back to the ladies' room. Yeah, this game is definitely not long if you know what you're doing. I'm already like 1 page through this 7-page thing. So it's, you know, it's just like every other Silent Hill game it can beat in, I'm going to guess, like an hour-ish. Yeah, this is 1. Obviously, if you're get good, maybe even better. Alright, so we want to go upstairs to room 204. Now, if you remember, this enemy's probably right outside here, by the way. Like, right in my face, QT. Damn it.
Even worse.
Yeah, and that was actually my fault. So, yeah, we want to up to 204. The other thing is this game gives you a lot. This game gives you a lot of items. And you're gonna need them. Because if it isn't obvious, your stuff breaks. So, like,
oh yeah.
Oh shh. I promise I will try not to swear at all during this stuff, but sometimes I just get a little scared. It's a little spooked. Okay, so 204. Unfortunately, I did not I did not find the note this time that tells you how to do this. Oh no, wait, maybe it's this. The heart of mine troubles me with its trembling. To still it, I have put it on ice and locked it away. Remember, the 3 beauties who cause it to pump so are the key. Age before beauty. This is actually it. So if you remember, there was the 3 ages. Age before beauty. There was... Why is this hard to control? 31. There was 23 for Lucy, and there was 19 for Sarah, I think. Chink, chink. And we get the plastic heart. We're going to go back to the mirror again. So this part, because it's so small, is kind of funky because it just feels like you're going back and forth between the same place. But there's certain... The next area is... Oh my god! Dude, I don't... Like, literally, remember when I did Silent Hill 1, like, the speedrun and stuff? I played that game... Now, for me, this is a lot, like 10 times. And I still got scared at certain points, even though I knew what was coming.
I would still say that Silent Hill 1 is one of, if not the most scary horror game